So for this week's discussion, after watching the video and reading the research chapter in the book, we'll especially remember the following things. First, I will remember to use the SWOT analysis when conducting a research. Basically, SWOT analysis involves both internal and external factors. So, SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So, the internal and external factors are also, um, they could be beneficial or detrimental, maybe positive or negative, however you want to say it, for your PR client. So, for internal, this basically means, I will identify the strengths that the organization I'm working for and their weaknesses as well. So, for example, for UW Army ROTC, one of their strengths is their community involvement. They have a program, or they do this, the Adopt a Highway program with WyoDot, where they actually took they do a highway cleanup every year. So they go out there and get involved with the community. And that's a good way for them to actually have this thing internally that they do with the outside organization. And then also for their weaknesses, one thing that I know is happening within the UW Army ROTC is their problem with not how do you say, oh well, they do tactical trainings in preparation for um to prepare the cadets to become an officer in the military or in the army. So with that, and with an external factor, that's kind of like they never had this thing prepared, that they couldn't do in-person tactical training because it has to be hands-on. They have to actually do it in person and practice it to actually remember and be able to have those quick instincts to do these tactical movements and decisions when it comes to becoming an army officer. So that's a problem, and I think that's a real weakness because they don't have that prepared for a virtual environment. And then another thing for the external factors, now that we have the threats and the opportunities, those those are things like the threats can be really negative about the organization. So for example, with UW Army ROTC, with their inability to train the cadets and prepare them for their summer training, especially the junior cadets, they are going to go to a summer training next summer. And with them, with the COVID as an external threat, they're unable to train these cadets to prepare for that training. So now there's the threat of COVID that could hurt the organization. And then but with that being said, it actually adds to an opportunity that maybe this is a good opportunity for the UW Army ROTC to start thinking about simulated or virtual wargaming, where they learn tactics and all that stuff on a simulated virtual trainer. Like you go online and play this war game on a video game or something like that. And maybe they should start thinking about that. That can create the opportunity that actually can attract new recruits or possible new cadets for the university of the ROTC program, because that is something that they've never thought about in the past, and they've never had to deal with the COVID threat. So, and a lot of organization had to deal with that at this time. So I think using SWOT analysis overall actually is a good way to conduct research and understand how me as a public relations person could help them be better, and to help the entire organization as itself. Now, second, that I will always remember when it comes to research is the use of proper citations and APA style. Um, I will always double check every sentence that I write to make sure they are cited properly, either by using direct quotations or by paraphrasing a sentence. I will always ensure that the sources are cited properly. And then also, I will make sure that my sources are credible sources. I will not use not credible sources like Wikipedia. And I've been doing that. Like, I've had professors in the past who always says that we should not use Wikipedia because it's not credible. Also, I will make sure that I use APA style. Um, I've used MLA before, so APA style. I don't remember. I might have used it before too. I just can't remember, but I probably have. Um, it is also very important when it comes to uh, citing your sources and citing them properly that I will use Al Purdue. I mean, it is a really good resource to use it. Is it makes life so much easier. And then also we have the files, the course files that has examples, and we can always I can always go there and double check, and also look at how to create my reference pages for my research. So, and then that's what I would do, and that's a hint that I would always remember. And then, lastly, but most importantly, I will never ever plagiarize. Plagiarism, I know, has the worst consequences whether you're a student or an actual public relations professional. As a student, plagiarism is obviously academic dishonesty. I personally treat plagiarism as a big crime, and that it can ruin not just my status as a student, but also my entire life. I'm public affairs in the army, so my job entails writing news stories, news release, working with civilian media, and plagiarizing could affect all of that for me. So I will never ever plagiarize, and I could lose my career in the army if I ever plagiarize anything. So I always double check that I make sure that I actually quote or give credit to whoever's work I'm coding or using, and that will help me, help me not plagiarize anything. Because sources and all that stuff are really good to help in your research, but I also have to remember that those are not my words, those are not the things I said, and those are things that I learned from whatever I research for something. So I will do everything in my power to ensure that I am not plagiarizing whatever I write or type or say, and I will always back, give credit to give credit to those who deserve the credit for, obviously, and not use um not use any way of plagiarizing. So, yeah, that's for my discussion this week, and that should be it.